There are loads of reasons why you should buy a home right now. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the top 10 benefits of owning a house. Actually, I'm feeling generous. I'm gonna give you the top 12 advantages to owning a home, but in reverse order, going from some great benefits down to the best advantages. Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and if you'd like to stay up to date on latest real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel and ring that little bell. If you have questions or comments at any time during this video, please leave a message below. If you'd like to buy, sell, build a home, or invest in Utah real estate, please feel free to call or text. I would love to talk with you. And if you watch to the end, I'll make some recommendations that are sure to help those of you who are planning to buy, sell, or build a home. Owning a home is the American dream, but do you know why? Well, it's because there are dozens of benefits for homeowners. In today's video, I'm explaining why you need to buy a home right now. Number one, buying a house is cheaper than you think. A common misconception is that you need to put 20% down, which means you need to save thousands upon thousands of dollars to buy a home. But there are different loan programs available. For most people, you only need to put 3.5% down. But for some people, in certain situations, you might be able to purchase a home with zero down. For comparison, on a $400,000 property at 20% down, you would need to save $80,000. But with only 3.5% down, you only need $14,000. For most people, that's achievable. You will also need to save an additional $5,000 to $8,000 for closing costs. Everyone's situation is different, so before you do anything, reach out to a lender to find out how much money you'll need to put down, how much home you can afford, and what your monthly mortgage payment will be. And if you don't qualify yet, a lender will tell you what steps you need to take to buy a home in the future. This takes me to number two. Homeowners get huge tax savings. Believe it or not, owning a home is often cheaper than paying rent. It's true. A lot of people are shocked to learn that the monthly payment for a house is often less than what you'd pay in rent for a similar sized property. Even if your monthly mortgage payment is the same or a little higher each month, owning a home is still cheaper than paying rent. Why? Well, the government offers tax incentives to homeowners because it spurs economic growth. As a homeowner, you can deduct mortgage interest, property taxes, and the mortgage insurance premiums, saving you thousands of dollars per year. Why do homeowners get these awesome tax incentives? It's because the US government wants you to own a home. Home ownership lessens the wealth gap between the poor and the wealthy. You'll get a better understanding as I go through the rest of this list. Side note, I'm not an accountant or tax specialist. Number three, as a homeowner, you can make improvements or additions to fit your personal taste and lifestyle. As a renter, you don't have the freedom to make changes to the place that you live. When you own a home, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can paint the walls, change out the plumbing and lighting fixtures, or the appliances. You can put a trampoline in the ground or add a fire pit area in the backyard. I hate to even mention the coronavirus, but it has changed the world that we live in. And the home has gained a lot more value as a lot of us are spending way more time in our house. Millions of Americans now work from home, at least part-time, on a permanent basis. Because of this shutdown and quarantine, a lot of people have added a home office, a home gym, a theater room, a place for the kids to study, and more family space. So as a homeowner, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's your home. Disclaimer, you'll want to consult with the city and the Homeowners Association, if you're in one, before you make any major structural changes to your property. Number four, owning a home gives you and your loved ones stability. Apartments, condos, and townhomes have much higher turnover as different people move in and out of the area. When you buy a home, you put down your roots mentally and physically. When I say physically, I mean that most people plan to stay in that property for several years. A lot of people plan to stay in that home forever, but the mental part is far more important. In general, when people move into a rental, they know that it's temporary, so they're more likely to stay to themselves. But for most people, when they move into a single family neighborhood, they plan to become part of the community, partaking in the improvement and protection of the areas in which they live. They become more neighborly. Not only that, it's hard to pack and unpack so often. It can be heart-wrenching for you and your family to leave friends and family behind, or to watch so many of your friends move away. And that takes us to number 5. You're far more likely to build long-term and in many cases lifelong friendships when you purchase and move into a home. It's true. A lot of people only live in their home for 3 to 5 years before moving up to a bigger or a better house. But a lot of people will stay in that same property for 10 to 20 years and often longer than that. When you move into a home, you'll become part of a neighborhood and build solid lifelong friendships with people you love and can trust. To be honest, it was hard not putting this benefit last because I can't put a price on the friendships myself and my family have created living in our neighborhood. I love and deeply trust a lot of the people in my neighborhood. And having these solid relationships makes me feel safe knowing that people are looking after my family and my property when I'm away. Number 6, you're safer living in a single family neighborhood as opposed to living in high density residential locations like apartments, townhomes, and similar properties. I've heard a lot of arguments on both sides of this issue, but to me, the evidence is overwhelming. In most cases, you'll have a higher rate of theft and all types of violent crimes living in high density locations. Number 7, real estate is a great hedge against inflation. The cost of goods has always increased over time. Right now here in the US, it's anticipated that we'll hit a period of superinflation. The Federal Reserve just raised the inflation expectation, announced that they'll double the taper rate, and set the expectation for 2 to 3 interest rate hikes in 2022 and 2023. The Fed now sees inflation running to 5.5% this year, above the previous estimate of 4.2%. The US government is flooding the market with dollar bills. The more money they print, the less value the US dollar has. As US currency loses value, you'll need more dollar bills to purchase things. This will drive the cost of goods, including houses, upwards. And this is why you want to own a home, especially in times when inflation could be off the charts. Number 8, when you buy a house, your monthly payment will stay the same for 30 years. This is a primary reason why renting is a poor financial decision. For some people, and at certain times, renting makes sense, but it's not a good long-term plan. To be blunt, rent sucks. You'll likely pay more than $500,000 in rent over a 30-year time period. After 30 years, you'll have nothing to show for it, and you could find yourself paying rent until you die. It can become a lifelong commitment to nothing. As I mentioned earlier, mortgage payments are often less than what you'd pay for rent on a similar property. But the cost of rent can increase every year and sometimes quite significantly. Your house payment will remain the same, only increasing when property taxes and insurance go up. After 30 years of owning a home, it should be paid off, which means you'll be able to live the rest of your life rent-free, or more specifically, without a monthly mortgage payment. Think for a moment. What would you do with all that extra money each month? You'd have the ability to travel when and where you want, buy your dream car, pursue your hobbies, spend more time with family, and things of this nature. Who would you spend more time with? What would you buy? Where would you go? What would you do? For most people, it will be the first time in their lives that they can enjoy true financial freedom. I've gone in depth on why owning is better than paying rent in another video. If you're currently paying rent, be sure to watch Buy versus Rent. I'll put a link to that video below. Number 9, when you own a home, you'll build equity. Each month, when you make that house payment, a portion of those funds are applied to the principal balance of your loan. In other words, you're paying the house off little by little. But on top of that, real estate appreciates over time. Yes, the housing market has its ups and downs, but over an extended period of time, home prices have always gone up. According to the National Association of Realtors, home prices on average increase 3.7% per year. Obviously, that number will vary depending on where your home is located. Let's look at some numbers real quick. If you purchased a $400,000 home and the market appreciated where you live by 3.7% in a 1-year time period, you'd earn approximately $15,000 in equity. In 5 years, the average appreciation on that same home could increase by $80,000, but potentially more than that. In some years and some locations, you could receive a huge boost in appreciation. In 2021, the average appreciation nationwide was nearly 20%. Yes, that's insane. So if you had purchased a home in January of 2021 for $400,000, in January 2022, your home would have appreciated by $80,000 in just 1 year. Some cities in Utah saw appreciation of 30% in 2021. So if you take that same scenario, a $400,000 home in one of these scorching hot metros in 1 year could now be valued at $520,000. Could you imagine getting $120,000 in equity in just 1 year? The value of my home in Eagle Mountain has more than doubled in just over 7 years. During the Great Recession, home values plummeted 33% nationwide. The market slowly started to turn around in 2011. If you had purchased a home 10 years ago, you're a huge winner, as home prices have now been increasing for more than a decade. A lot of these homeowners have now refinanced to a mortgage rate below 3% thanks to the record low mortgage rates in 2021. A lot of Americans are now sitting on loads of equity with an extremely small monthly mortgage payment. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting long-winded, but I love this subject and I feel like everything I'm discussing is important. And this next statistic is mind-blowing. If you're currently paying rent or living in your mom's basement or simply don't own a house yet, you're going to want to pay particular attention to this next statistic. A few years ago, the Federal Reserve reported a homeowner's net worth is 40 times greater than that of a renter. They didn't say 40% more, they said 40 times more. After this huge run on housing, I guarantee it's a lot higher now. Clearly, homeownership has substantial financial benefits that renters don't receive. Now, as I mentioned earlier, after 30 years, the home will be paid off. But also after 30 years from now, your home should be worth 2 to 3 times more than what you paid for it. So a $400,000 home today should be worth more than $1 million. For a lot of homeowners, the equity built over 30 years is so great that they're able to sell their house, pay for something smaller, and retire on the remaining equity. This happens a lot, and it brings us to number 10, home ownership will provide you with a better retirement. Just as I mentioned, your home's value is going to double, triple, or possibly even quadruple over a 30-year time period. How's that for a retirement plan? Once you've paid your home off, you get to live there for free. Well, except for insurance and property taxes. Just like my father, a lot of people quit their jobs once the house is paid off. Millions of Americans use the equity in their home to retire, and usually to a place that provides them with a better quality of life. This would be things like living closer to family and friends, warmer weather so they can be active, or a location that will allow them to pursue their hobbies or passions. Number 11, real estate is a great investment. For most people, buying a home is the best financial decision that they'll ever make. To live in this world, you're gonna have a monthly payment to live somewhere, whether you're paying rent or buying a home. When it comes to paying rent, you're pretty much just throwing your money away. When you buy a home, that monthly payment pays down your loan. I know I've mentioned this already, but not only are you paying the house off each month, but you're also building equity. The combined power of equity gain and paying down your mortgage every single month is powerful. But what if you took it to the next level and purchased a rental property or 2 or more? Your net worth would quickly multiply even if you only had 1 or 2 rental properties. On top of all the benefits that I just mentioned, in most situations, you'd also receive revenue from each property on a monthly basis. It may only be a few $100s at first, but because rent increases, usually on a yearly basis, you can charge more and more as time passes, increasing your monthly income. Think about this. After 30 years, when the rental property is paid off, you'll no longer have to pay that monthly mortgage payment, and you'll get to keep all of that rental income. The income from just 2 rental properties that are paid off could pay you enough to retire in style, giving you complete financial freedom. And guess what? It's easier than you think. If you're considering real estate as a path to your retirement, or you'd like to learn more, you'll want to watch my 310 real estate investing strategy video, where I show you just how easy it is to buy your first home and a couple of rental properties in just a few short years, and where I'll show you some different investing strategies. I'll put a link to this video below. Okay, for the last item, and by no means is this the only remaining advantage of homeownership, it's just the last one that I'm going to discuss today. Number 12, it's your home, a place you can call your own, a place of peace and refuge from the world for yourself and for your family. A home is a place where the most special memories are made. a place where you can kick your feet up and relax, and where you can be yourself without judgment. In today's world, your home can be your office, your school, your place of worship, and your place of entertainment. More than ever, the home has become a place where we're spending more time and living our lives. For your children, your home will be the center of their universe. Almost everything that they love and hold dear will be under one roof. Your roof. There's no combination of words or grouping of sentences, not even a list like this, that can even begin to describe the beauty and importance the home will have in an individual's life, especially for a child. This benefit surpasses all the others by miles, and I could go on, but you get the point. Buying a home will be one of the most influential things you do for yourself and for your family. So if you haven't already, buy a home. When you do, make sure you choose a good home in a good neighborhood. And just a little advice, if possible, buy a newer home so you don't have a bunch of repairs. If you buy an older home, you could spend a lot of time and money repairing and replacing things. If you're handy and you like that sort of thing, then have at it. For the rest of you, stick to buying homes that are newer. Spend some time in the location where you want to buy a home. Talk to people who live in the neighborhood that you're considering and trust your instincts. Once again, for most people, buying a house will be the best financial decision that they ever make. Don't let the media or a few horror stories scare you from purchasing a house. If you decide you're ready to purchase a home, do your due diligence and make sure you have at least 3 months of living expenses in reserves. This will allow you to weather most storms. Living life paycheck to paycheck is a disaster waiting to happen, and you need to figure out how to increase the amount of money coming in or decrease the amount of money going out. And the sooner the better. Buy a house that you can easily afford in a good location where home values are most likely to rise. Yes, the real estate market is kind of crazy right now, but I still strongly believe that it's a good time to buy, especially when you can get a mortgage interest rate below 4%. If you're curious about where the housing market is going in 2022, I just released my highly researched video, Should You Buy a Home in 2022? You'll want to watch that video when you're done with this one. Buying a house can be stressful and it can be scary, but I assure you it's a great decision that will change your life for the better. One of the main reasons I became a realtor was so I could guide people just like you through the confusing and stressful process of buying or selling a home and then hopefully becoming a real estate investor. Thankfully, through my YouTube channel, I've been able to help people all over the world. Okay, so as promised, here's my list of videos to guide you through the process of buying, selling, or building a home. The first-time home buyer to-do list. How to buy your first rental property. Best projects for selling your home. The in-depth guide for buying a new construction home. I have hundreds of videos to guide you through the process. I'll put links to the most helpful videos below. If you're looking to buy, sell, build a home, or invest in Utah real estate, please feel free to contact me directly. I would love to talk with you. If there's something that stood out to you as being helpful, or if you have questions, please comment below. I will always do my best to respond to each one of you. If you know someone who's thinking about buying a home, please share this video with them, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty, the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.